Hello people, it's Bell Gaming, and today we have another video for you to help you plan out how to go for maximum account growth in Call of Dragons, and how you can do this particularly as a low spender or a mid spender in the game. Obviously, if you're in a whale that spends a lot, you can, focus on many troops, many heroes, many artifacts, and be very good at all different types of troops. But as a low to mid spender, I would say from the very beginning, it's very important to prioritize one troop type, one kind of tech, one kind of artifact and troops in order to be most efficient on the field, as it's much better to be a specialist as opposed to being a generalist and being the master of none. Now, I'll explain why this is important as we go along. And I'll encourage you to go and check out my mage video, my mage guide, as it will show you a lot about why I think the mage heroes and, mage tech to go for your first T5 troop as mages is the most efficient and best as a low to mid spender. So let's talk about how you can plan for maximum account growth. So first of all, it's very important to focus on one type of research. So for example, let's say you're planning to go for T5 mages first. What this means is that you shouldn't be working too much on these or spending speed ups on the other types of troops like swordsmen, knights, and ballistas, right? It's a waste of your speed ups doing this, and it's going to slow down your progression to get to the T5 of your choice. So if you're going for T5 mages, I would say, you'd be happy getting to about level 5 for these techs, so you can actually use them still at some level in the game. But if you're going to go higher than level 5, level 6 in these troop-specific techs, I would say try to use speed ups only for the troop of your type. As you can see, the only ones which are maxed as far as they can at 24, so level 9 out of 10, is my mage tech. So level 9 out of 10 arcane knowledge and level 9 out of 10 mage protection. Now, if I tried doing this for all my different troop types, I would have wasted months of speed ups, which means my final push towards C5 could be delayed by many months, or even like half a year potentially, if I tried to be, a generalist and go for all of them. So that's the first thing, focusing on one troop-specific type of research. Obviously, for the general techs, like all these three, you have to complete all of these to open one T5 unit. So feel free to max everything else out before this. But once you get to this point, to the troop-specific tech, please make sure you only do or max, push the one of your choice. The second reason why it's important to focus on one troop type is because investing in heroes is very expensive. And if you want to be the most efficient in the open field, you want to have max marches. When I say max marches, I think about having either max heroes, max artifacts, max pets, and max stars. So as you can see, Lilia requires you to spend and get her as an investment. Once you have her maxed, she's an amazing hero in the open field, hitting 1200 damage to three legions. And the other key hero which you can get from gold keys and also through the daily deals is Velen, which I have maxed, which pairs very well, as your best mage march will be Lilia and Velen. And this gives you also more AoE, 3 different legions getting another 1200 damage with amazing buffs. This is a win-win overall. Obviously, if you were to try and, you can see if you look over here that I have spent 107 gold heads and 583 heads of Velen to get him to this point. Obviously, if you're trying to spread your gold tokens out to many heroes, you aren't going to be able to max these in a reasonable amount of time, meaning you can't get the max value from your march. The third key reason is that artifacts are incredibly expensive to invest in the game. I would say it's the most important and potentially the most expensive part of playing the game Call of Dragons. So you can see I'm lucky enough to have a level 5 Infernal Flame. You can go to a previous video where I was lucky enough to pull quite a few of these from the Artifact Forge events in order to max it. But getting a max Infernal Flame or a max Artifact level 5, any sort of level 5 artifact can be upwards of 500 to 1,000 to 1.5 grand in real money if you're unlucky. And so if you aren't saving gems, if you aren't being efficient about how you do this, it's very hard to max artifacts. Having 2, 3, 4 max artifacts as a low spender or mid spender is just not viable. So focusing on one really good mage artifact for me, or archer artifact, or whatever you're choosing, for me Infernal Flame, is a really good idea, as it's very expensive to have multiple artifacts. The same kind of goes for pets. As you can see, I have quite a nice pet that I'm using. Investing in 2-star skills for pets is quite expensive, particularly the 2-star modifiers for the main talent. These can be quite expensive to buy in the shops, so making sure that you don't need many pets and you're focusing on a few to be very strong is really good for your march. Also, the same goes for troops. So, I have quite a few troops still in the hospital, so you won't be able to see my full amount. But I have, I think, around 600 to 700k T4 mages and 400 to 500k celestials. Being able to focus your speed ups, which are very special, very precious into one troop type for your main troop hero combination means that you're able to sustain using your main hero pair, for me, Lily and Velen, for longer in the open field. So you can take losses and still manage to be effective while using the really good tech that you've been working on for that troop of your type. So just to recap, I would say it's very important to focus on one troop type. It's very important to focus on a single pair of heroes until you've maxed them, and not to spread your gold tokens out too far. And it's very important to focus on one artifact if possible and save all your gems, all your keys for the Forge of Light events in order to get multiple copies of an artifact to max out, because the effect that you get, as you can see here, negative 7.5 damage taken, plus 7.5% damage dealt, massive amounts of attack given as part of the effect, is much better than having a level 1 and level 2 artifact. So it's very important to save for one, and doing that for multiple heroes isn't always viable. The other key thing which I've nearly forgotten is the amount of stars it requires to fully max a legendary hero. So you can see, to get to 6 stars, you get the nice buffs of 5% attack resistance, which gives you tankiness essentially, and 5% defense penetration, which gives you an increased effectiveness when you attack someone. So you can see I've managed to 6-star just one hero, which is my Lilia, and you go to my Velen, which I do want to 6-star at some point. You can see, in order to do that, let's just have a look. So putting on 6 normal stars only increases it by just under 1%. So you're looking at saving over 650 normal stars in order to fully max a legendary hero from level 5 to level 6. That's a ridiculous amount of stars to save up, and being able to do that as a low spender, mid spender is very difficult. So this is why I think overall it's best to focus on one troop type, one hero pair, one artifact combination before you start working on your next hero pair, particularly as you are working towards getting your first T5 troop unlocked, which at this point in the game, in terms of the meta, would best be T5 mages, I think, for the average mid to low spender. And if you're a bit of a higher spender, things like T5 archers are quite good. But given the current meta of long range attacking, I would say T5 mages is a very safe choice for most players. I hope this really helped you guys today, and please stick around and watch the rest of my videos, and like and subscribe if you've enjoyed it. Peace out.